at all.
It doesn't really feel real. There's something about like my friends from like high school who are like still in Michigan or are like texting me that they're like they've seen it. That part
Oh.
is like sinking in. I
Yeah.
think yeah, it's it's starting to settle. It's starting to settle. The surreality of like the entire press tour, I feel like it's sinking in, and I feel like people are responding really well, and yeah, a lot of love. So yeah, it's starting to feel real.
Yeah, that's amazing. Just for our uninitiated viewers who might not be familiar, right now, give us like the elevator pitch. Like, what is the movie about?
Elevator pitch, hot girls, erotic environment. I think it's it's both like it's very genre bending. The film, it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a very character driven piece of what happens when these people are put in a compromised situation and their toxic monsters within them all start to rear their ugly head, um, and chaos ensues. It's really there's nothing to say without spoiling, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it gets bloody, it gets muddy, it gets rainy, dirty, mean, toxic, all the
Definitely. Yeah, that's very true what you said that like everybody is a little bit horrible. It seems like in the film as you'll see as it goes on. Was that fun though as an actor and with all of your co-stars who are all amazing to kind of just like be horrible people for a fun project like this?
I mean, it's like partially like an actor's dream to just be able
Uh-huh.
to, it's and my dream, like just behaving badly and just seeing like just showing like the ugliest parts of yourself. I feel like we're catching all these characters like on their worst days,
Mm-hmm.
which is so fun and cathartic to do. I think I mean, at times like it got scary because we became super close like
Mm-hmm.
as the film went on, but just like being mean to all your friends and like faces, it's like it can like play tricks on your mind after a while, but like I think definitely like there had to be like the base of love. Like it hurts the most when you like are mean to those you love, and it feels like personal. So it's like it was always like delicate, like a delicate balance of like we'd be screaming at each other and like the take would end, and then we'd like start like cautiously laughing and like hug each other, but like while also like make like staying in character.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Love that. Were you a horror movie fan to begin with?
I honestly could not do horror at all. I like when I was a kid, I like would watch the least scary thing and just be like traumatized for weeks. But doing a horror movie, you kind of peek behind the curtain of like what it all entails, and kind of
Right.
yeah, that it takes away some of the suspension of disbelief. So now I'm like, yeah, bring it on, bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, but it was at least super fun to watch this in the screening room. I was like, I hope I don't like scream or jump and
Did
freak
you
anyone.
scream? I hope you
I
screamed.
did. I jumped out of my seat a little, and then I got concerned for the people sitting next to me. So I was like, I need to contain myself.
Love that.
But it was a hoot.
I like hope people are screaming, grabbing onto feet.
That's super fun. I think obviously a huge draw to the film, as you said, are the hot girls, the cast. They all are super exciting, like rising young actors right now. In addition to you, we have Rachel Sennett, Maria Bakalova, Myhela Herald, Amanda Stenberg, and Pete Davidson and Lee Pace. Do you remember the first time you guys were all together
Yeah,
for the
I
film?
it felt really special. I mean, like going into a project, you're always kind of like sussing each other out, sniffing each
Mm-hmm.
other, like just seeing, how it's all going to come together and how it's going to work. Because that cast chemistry is like something that's it's like an X factor that you can't really plan for. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always like kind of cautionary. But like I remember we first, none of us had really met each other, but we first did a table read. Um, on a hot day in New York, and everyone just kind of sat at the table and was like, "Hi," but it was kind of quiet. Like I think everyone had like this kind of nervous energy that was really exciting. But once we started reading, and like the producers in the corner like started giggling, and like Helena was like holding her head in her hands, and it was like immediately like, whoa, this is something like impossible to not feel excited and comfortable around these people, because it's like, wow, we're about to make something crazy.
Yeah. And then you guys all bonded pretty quickly, is what you said.
We all what?
Bonded really quickly, like on
Yeah.
set, like rehearsing together.
Yes. I mean, there's something like day 2 of filming, we're covered in blood, like shaking, holding each other, like staring into each other's eyes, unleashing like blood curdling screams. So you can't like go back. You can't. All right, nice working with you. Like,
yeah. Like you're in the trenches together, like true bonds are formed, I feel like.
Yes.
What do you remember what the most fun day on set was like?
The most fun day for me was, there's like this party scene, and Helena, like we were kind of prepping for it all week, and Helena was like, well, we don't really have a plan exactly, but I'm excited for a party on Friday. And like it was just like a 14-hour rager kind of, where we just had the whole day to do that kind of like dancing sequence where everyone's like going crazy.
Right.
Especially for my character, I feel like she holds so much in, so that was like a great like unleashing. And there were like 8-minute takes, and the camera could just like go anywhere. So that was like, yeah, that was a dream. That was my day.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of your character, tell us a little bit more about Emma besides her like amazing wardrobe.
Oh my god,
It was really cute. Yeah, I love the like feminine ruffles and heels and stuff. Yeah, give us a little bit of a lowdown.
That's like not my. I like never dress like that. So that was fun to like be able to step into the little kitten heels. But
yeah,
but it also like that. I mean, that's telling for her character. I think she's so like outward facing, and I think like of all the characters embodies like this. You know, she's got the perfect Instagram, perfect social media. She's very curated, and just, you know, wants to have this perfect boyfriend and present as like this girl who has it all together, and but is just like deeply tortured and repressed. And obviously see it most interestingly in the character with, you know, the relationship with Pete Davidson.
Yeah,
that relationship, like Helena and I talked a lot about these tragic characters like Ophelia, and just like, you know, women who are like really just like what lies like beneath this like mask, this like perfect mask. And it's like a lot of Stockholm syndrome in that relationship, a lot of like say like masochism, and there's just a lot of fun dynamics that are not necessarily in the script, but like are just like bubbling and frothing underneath.
Yeah, how did you work on those scenes with Pete? Because he's a funny guy, and those are like dark, tough kind of like dynamics too.
Yeah, I mean, he was so committed. Like we would like rehearse those scenes and like laugh about like how intense and how like messed up. So that helped a lot. Like, and that scene, you know, where it's like a yelling match that he is winning and I am just taking. That was all day. Him just like barking all day. And, you know, those scenes can be really tough, but when you have someone like Pete, who's like, we became like buddies, and just, it was nice to have that trust. Because if you don't have that, then it's like hell, and your brain.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm curious, did you guys ever play Bodies, like as a cast outside of the set?
Yeah, we did.
You did? What was that like?
Our homework, and we played that as like a bonding kind of exercise. But it turned like very surreal, because you can tell that everyone's like doing character work and like trying to act actor, like, but it's a good icebreaker, albeit like a scary one, because you have like these new people, and a feral side comes out, and you have to like lie and like defend your case and like eyes and like, you know, deceive them. So
yeah, I think that's also the fun part about this. It's like everybody, I feel like if you went to school, like you've played some version of this game, and like you know how like intense and personal it gets. Like personal insults get flung
I,
when you start like accusing who, like figuring out who the murderer is.
it's also an excuse to like, if you have beef with someone, it's like a great like diversion tactic.
Air it out.
But all right, let's settle this right now through different words, but like the same sort of emotions and targeted attacks. So
Yeah, yeah, super crazy, but it makes for a great movie.
exactly.
For you personally, what is your go-to drinking game?
Oh, go-to drinking game. I get really aggressive Asian glow, so my top.
Me too.
Yeah, bad. I turn bright red.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like the baby in The Incredibles.
Oh,
Drinking game? God, I don't know. King's Cup, maybe?
yeah, it's a classic.
Oh, or like Slap Cup. That was always fun. I played
Okay.
Slap Cup also like gets out of primal anger where you can just like, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, totally. That's a good one. I want to do like imagine a celebrity like bodies rotation. Like
Ooh.
who are four people you'd love to play the game with?
Oh. Like in the movie, like a recap.
Just in general, just like who would you love to like play that game with? Like,
Oh, that's so good. Okay. Tom Hardy.
okay, yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Um, Tilda Swinton. Um, hmm, Ken Watanabe.
Oh my gosh.
um, um, and Judi Dench.
Wow. Act it right now. Let's pitch it. Day 24.
Honestly, that's a pitch. That's a pitch.
I would watch that. I seriously would. I hope this is not a spoiler, but there's a fun moment in the film where there's an Azalea Banks song, 212, for like a party scene. Um, what was it like filming that? And also, was that like a wink to the bling ring, kind of?
That was definitely a wink and a nod to the Bling Ring. That was
Yeah.
we went through like what are the iconic renditions of 212 Bling Ring.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
But that, I mean, that song, it actually just, it hypes you up. Like whoever you are, wherever you're from, like their
Mm-hmm.
song doesn't get at something that is
Yeah.
just going. And that party sequence I was talking about, we probably listened to 212 like 100 times because that was a 12-hour day and it was
Oh
212
God.
on loop, on loop. And it's, you have to do that a lot for like those kind of dancing sequences when you act, but like that one never got old. By the end, we were still like, it still hits.
Yeah. Such a good one. I mean, every time it comes on, it just like awakens a part of you, and you're like, it's time to party.
Life, like that song is like it like creates visuals in your brain like every time you listen to it. That's a special one.
Absolutely. I'm gonna open this up to some Q&As from the audience, who have all been very, very flattering to you. Like, it seems like I have a lot of fans in the chat, and people have dropped in some questions in the button here. So we have one here who says, "How is playing Emma different from your previous roles, and what are the parts that you relate to her with?"
I was kind of scared to play Emma because she's very different than like I played this character Riley on Generation that was
Love that show.
oh my god, thank you. I Emma is just she's much girlier, much more feminine, or at least like thing, and so that was cool to like explore that part. And but I think that she was different in how dark she was, and how like yeah, just again like I'm really interested in those characters that are like what's behind the mask. Like you have this presenting front, but like what's inside the layers, and this character deal that she puts up. So but yeah, unlike any character I've ever played, and really special and dear to my heart, and also can relate to like I'm not always like so forthcoming with how I feel and can repress things, and I think cathartic is getting to play that kind of role.
Totally. Yeah. Okay. Let's have another question here. After a long day, what's your favorite show slash movie to binge?
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm sure you had a lot of like, when you're like out in the rain, in the mud for this film, like how do you unwind? What are you watching?
Well, it was tough because we would get home at the witching hour, like at 5, go home to our dusty, dank motel and have to like just pull the blackout curtains and like the world and then go do it all over again. But we like stayed kind of like far from set, and I would just blast. I would drive really slowly to like get my, just like decompress and get that off ramp, and I would blast country music because so that was like the only thing that would like get me out of my head. Like on the way, I would blast like really moody shit and like all this kind of, sorry, I don't know if we're gonna swear on this. But then the offer, I would like,
Oh, it's all good, all good.
blast country music, and then Arrested Development is one I go show, or Chef's Table.
That's awesome. Oh, Chef's Table, yeah, very soothing. Somebody wants to know, did you make a playlist for Emma?
I did.
You did.
It's on my Spotify. It's so moody. I can't listen to any of those songs anymore without like it's a lot of Lana, a lot of like 070 Shake, which I love, and I kind of songs on the playlist because I love those songs so much. Fred Again.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, another cue is or were there any lines that were improvised that made you break character? That's a good question.
Ooh. There were so many lines that were improvised like all the time. The script was really loose, and like a lot of times Helena wouldn't call a cut, and Jasper Wolf, our amazing DP, would just like be in your face, and you'd be like, all right, I have to improv. And the chemistry was like so fun and natural that like it was all the time. And if you broke, that was not an option. So no one ever really broke. We kind of just, you had to drop in or else.
Yeah, very professional.
Very professional.
I think I read somewhere that Rachel's "I'm an ally" line was improvised.
I think that we'd all talked about that scene like before, and that was, she just pitched that, and like everyone started dying laughing. So
that's so good.
Yeah,
amazing. All right, another cue. What was the hardest scene for you to film?
The hardest scene, I mean, probably the one, there are two. The one where Pete, oh God, spoiler alert. I'll give a non-spoiler one. The one where Pete's yelling at me, that one was particularly, like, that was all day, and being in that headspace, I think like sometimes, when you're doing scenes like that, the scene can kind of run away with your mind a little bit. And that's both exciting and terrifying. And yeah, that one, I was blasting the country music loud.
Very loud. What would you play? What artists would you play?
A lot of Uncle Cracker, of Chicken Fried Zach Brown Band, a lot of basically Uncle Cracker and Chicken Fried Band.
What would be?
Sorry.
No, all good. I guess another one here is, what would be your dream role?
Oh. It's hard to like pigeonhole like what a dream role is. I think there are like movies like that throughout time that I'm like, wow, that would be such a pinnacle and a peak. Like I'm obsessed with John Cassavetes and Jenna Rollins and parts like those, like A Woman Under the Influence or like Husbands, like all those kinds of deep character movies where again it's like, women who in film who are just on the brink of some sort of mania. Like I love that sort of thing, which this fits in, like this Emma.
Totally.
Yeah, a dream.
Okay, another question is here. If Emma and Riley got into a fight, who do you think would win?
Oh my God, Riley. Emma would take, that's an amazing question. Emma would take so many cheap hits and then just like start crying.
You start crying, yeah.
Riley would demolish Emma. See that fight.
I don't know if you know this, but if you Google yourself, well, I doubt you Google yourself. It's probably healthier that way. But one of the top questions is Chase Sui Wonders in Euphoria? And which is interesting. I think they probably confuse it with Generation, but like, would that also be a dream of yours or something of the sort?
Yeah. I mean, I love a lot of people like in that on that set, and yeah, so much respect for that show.
Yeah, totally.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. All right, we're just gonna keep a couple more from here. Could you describe Emma in emojis?
Oh man. Yeah. The Emma emojis are like the girl like getting her hair cut like that.
Yes.
The the smiley face like melting. And then the zombie, because yeah, or the fire
Oh,
one.
definitely. And then I guess to wrap everything up, what do you hope people take away from the film when we all see it this weekend?
I hope that, you know, I think that the most special part of the film is how it's not overly didactic and it doesn't really kind of hit you on the head of like Gen Z is bad. Like I think it's what I love is the universal element of like, you know, when self-awareness kind of melts away, like how you can like kind of laugh at yourself and not, and you can laugh at these characters. And yeah, I think it's just such a cool mirror to like, you know, the insides and worst parts of people, and you know how we can learn to laugh at those parts of those characters that will in turn help us laugh at ourselves a little more, I think, not take ourselves.
Totally. Well, thank you so much, Chase. This has been awesome, and I hope everyone out there can take a peek at Bodies this weekend or in the coming weekends now that it's open nationwide.
Heck yeah, can't wait for everyone.
Thanks, all right, awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye.